Today, I'm going to share with you 5 of the best neighborhoods in Nampa, Idaho. So if you're thinking about making a move up to Nampa, this video is for you. I'm going to walk you through why these are some of my favorites, what they have to offer you, and why you might want to take a look at them. What's up guys, I'm Chase Dolan, your Boise realtor, and in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 of my favorite neighborhoods in the Nampa, Idaho area. The first neighborhood that we're going to talk about is an acreage community, Weatherbe Estates. So this is going to be located on the southeastern edge of Nampa. It's going to be a small boutique kind of acreage community. There's only 15 total home sites. It's one street with a big cul-de-sac at the end. There's going to be a 2-acre community park down at the end of the street. Each of these home sites is a full acre, and that is kind of hard to find in our valley right now, especially when you start to couple that with the high quality build that they have to offer in this community. There's going to be 2 builders that you can choose from. Both of them do fully custom build outs. They have some floor plans for you to choose. We're going to have B&B custom home builders, and then we're going to have Bachman custom homes. Both of these build high quality homes, high end finishes. They do everything they can to maximize space. Could not recommend them higher. A few specific things that make this community stand out is each lot is going to be on well and septic. So you're not going to be dealing with the city utilities. All of these lots with that full acre, you're going to notice that they kind of do the landscaping about halfway into your backyard. They leave the rest of it dirt. The reason for this is the neighborhood actually got shops, outbuildings, ADUs already pre-permitted. So you just have to go through the right process, but you're allowed to put those on. So they really wanted to give you that blank canvas. It's going to be flat, it's going to be graded, but it's not going to have grass all the way out. This gives you a lot of flexibility depending on what you want. And I know shops, that is a huge thing up here, especially if you want to be a little bit more rural. And you can't always find a lot that's going to accommodate a shop, especially new construction. So this kind of pairs both of those. And along that same line, this is a neighborhood that really balances that country rural setting, the acreage community, but you're still really, really close to services and civilization. You're not sacrificing one or the other. From Weatherbe Estates, you're going to be just about 10 minutes from downtown Nampa, even shorter to get to your first shopping, restaurants, grocery stores, services, everything. And then you're also going to be about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on traffic, from the village at Meridian, which is a nice landmark on the far edge of Meridian. So you're going to be able to get to the 10-mile exit on Meridian even quicker. When you pair the really convenient location with these gorgeous acre lots and you add a custom luxury home on top of them, you're gonna end up with a higher price point. All of the homes here, even on the lower end, are gonna start around that high 900,000s, and they can get up into that 1.3, 1.4 million pretty quickly, depending on what you decide to put in your home. But if you're gonna spend that kind of money, this is a great way to do it because you're really getting the best of both worlds. As of filming this video, they're only about 1/3 of the way through the community, so there's still a ton of great opportunities for you to pick a lot, pick the builder, and get your dream home out here. Again, having a little bit more of that acreage living while still being close to town. And the second community that we're going to talk about is just going to be just a little bit down the road south. We're still going to be in southeastern Nampa. We're going to talk about Osprey Estates. So Osprey Estates is going to have a lot of similarities to Weatherby, just on a smaller scale. The lots here are going to average around 1/2 an acre. For anyone that's watched any of my videos on the channel or you visited up here in the area, you know that a typical lot here, especially on the new construction side, a large one is going to be 1/4 to 1/3 of an acre. Typically a little bit smaller is the quote unquote standard lot. So the fact that a big development like this is going to have an average of 1/2 an acre for almost every single home, that is something that is going to be very, very hard to find. And that's why I think it's super exciting that it's getting rolling. Osprey Estates is really doing everything they can to take advantage of the views and the natural beauty of where it is located. So you're going to have some really killer views of the Hawaii Mountains, but you're also going to be just a few minutes away from Lake Lowell. So when they were making the site plan for the entire community, they really put an emphasis on large, open, common spaces. There's a lot of walking paths going in and out. They really want you to be able to be out in nature, stay in your own neighborhood, but get that feeling, that serene sense that Nampa and this rural part of town has to offer. Just like Weatherby, you are going to get some of that rural beauty. You're going to be a little bit more separated from where all the development is now. You're going to be able to drive through some farmland, but you're still gonna be really conveniently located, and you're just gonna be a few minutes away from shopping, from restaurants, medical facilities, all of the services that you need. And to give you a little bit of context, you're gonna be about 15 minutes from downtown Nampa, and then you're gonna be about 5 minutes from the closest little retail center right off of 12th Avenue that you can go and hit up. And this separation from the rest of the development and having a little bit of a buffer from where Nampa has been extending in the southern range, being able to drive through some of that rural farmland that still exists, those are huge pros. There's something to know here is right now, there is potential for annexation over the next however long as Nampa continues to develop. Eventually this will become as part of the city of Nampa, but for right now, you are considered county. So you're not actually in the city of Nampa. There are a ton of things that this impacts, but the main one is that means that your taxes are gonna be so much cheaper for the foreseeable future. Once you get incorporated into the city of Nampa, everything's gonna change a little bit, but this is something that if you're living on the edge of the development, you get to take advantage of. Most of the communities around our valley are gonna be in the cities already, so you're really not losing out on anything. It's just a little extra benefit up front. Osprey is a relatively new community, so they are just now getting started in phase 1. There are gonna be a few builders that you can select from, kind of ranging from that semi-custom to fully custom builds, depending on what you're looking for. When all is said and done, there's gonna be 189 total home sites in this neighborhood. So it's gonna be a really good size compared to Weatherby being at 15 home sites. It's gonna feel much, much larger, but this isn't gonna be a 2,000 home master plan community. It's going to be that little bit of a balance of nice amenities, plenty of walking paths, plenty of places to go, but still keeping it quaint and under that 200 homes mark. As of filming this video, the pricing is going to start in the low 800,000s and just work its way up from there. And while we're talking about the real estate and the pricing, I do want to remind you, I am a licensed realtor up here in the area. So if you have any questions at all about any of these communities making the move, where price is currently at, whatever I can do to help, all of my information is down below. I would absolutely love to. And if you're liking this content, you're learning something, hit that subscribe button down below. That's the best way that I can judge if this is actually resonating with you or if it's just a waste of time. But let's hop right back in with the third neighborhood that I want to talk about. We're going to talk about Silver Star, a Toll Brothers community right on the edge of Nampa and Meridian. So Silver Star is going to be on the other side of I-84 from the first two. We're going to be on that northeastern edge of Nampa, and the neighborhood itself is going to be right off Star Road, which is where Ada County, Meridian, Boise, Eagle, those types of cities, and Canyon County, Nampa, Middleton, Caldwell, that's where they meet. So it really just depends where you're at. This one is going to be technically in the city of Nampa, but because of the location, you're currently, as of filming this video, in the West Ada school district. So you're going to get some of those really highly rated schools right down the road from the neighborhood, literally about a block away. You're going to have a Waihe High School, which is the brand new high school up here. And the location is absolutely fantastic. Even though you're in Nampa, you are so close to Northwest Meridian, which hopefully you know if you've watched any of my videos, that is one of my favorite parts of our entire valley. You're gonna be just about 10 minutes away from Costco and Orchard Park, but you're also still close to everything that Nampa has to offer. So you're just a few minutes away from Ford Idaho Center, where a ton of our big concerts happen. You're gonna be just a few minutes away from the Treasure Valley Marketplace, which is a little mall, retail. There's gonna be restaurants, grocery stores. And they are also gonna be just a few minutes away from all of the medical facilities right off the highway in Nampa. They are gonna be a little bit more of a production builder, but they are gonna offer a higher level home than those entry level kind of cookie cutter builders that some people might be afraid of. Toll Brothers offers a really good product in the way that they structure their process, with you actually choosing a lot, choosing a floor plan, going in and designing everything about the home, and then letting it build throughout. It really is a great thing to go through. My wife and I have actually gone through the entire process and built a Toll Brothers home, and it was a fine experience. You can find so much more information online about floor plans, current availability, the neighborhood, Toll Brothers as a builder. All that I'll say is that Toll Brothers is a builder that has a really good working relationships with agents here in the valley. But if you want to have representation on your side and not just deal with the builder's agent, make sure you have your agent do that initial reach out, meet you at the model homes. Toll Brothers, again, they love working with agents, but they have a very strict policy that if you aren't there at the beginning, you might be opting into not using your own agent. Just something to keep in mind. Depending on the collection of home and the floor plan, pricing in Silver Star is going to start in the 500,000s and it can get up into the high 600,000s pretty quickly, All of this will come down to the way that their process works. Which lot do you choose? What's the lot premium? How much do you upgrade the cabinets, the counters? What colors are you choosing? You're in control of all of that though, so you're able to stick within your budget. Okay, let's hop back over towards Lake Lowell. We're gonna be in the southern part of Nampa. Let's talk about Summit Ridge. So Summit Ridge has been one of my favorite communities for about the past 5 years. It's a really nice semi-custom to custom built neighborhood, and it's set up in that ridge format where each street is gonna be just a little bit higher than the last. So you get some really good views. You're not stuck in that very typical subdivision feel. Everything about the neighborhood was really well thought out. From here, you're gonna be just a few minutes to downtown Nampa. You're gonna be just a stone's throw away from Lake Lowell, Red Hawk Golf Course. There are a ton of cool amenities just outside. You actually have access to a really good trail system that you can walk to from the community itself. Coming back to what's in the community, you're gonna have a community pool, you're gonna have a playground, a park, there's gonna be some open spaces, everything's gonna be very well landscaped. It is a gorgeous community that offers its residents a really good living experience. New development is starting to reach its end. They're in their final phase right now, but there are still some really good opportunities for lots if you want to do a fully custom build, and a couple of the builders, Eaglewood and Schrader in particular, are starting to release their final spec homes out in the neighborhood. Overall, pricing in Summit Ridge is going to start around that mid 600,000s mark. And to wrap up, I really did save the best for last. I'm going to share with you a community that I think is going to be an absolute stunner when it's done. And you will be one of the first homes in this community because they are just getting started. I'm going to take you out to Lake Vista Estates. So Lake Vista Estates is going to be a high-end, private, eventually gated community located on the far end of Lake Lowell. So you're going to be on the actual southern side of Lake Lowell. But this is a subdivision that's going to offer a really high-quality home on 2-acre home sites. So if the acreage, the separation, having that natural beauty, but still being closer to amenities, but you don't need them in your backyard, Lake Vista Estates is going to be something that is very intriguing to you. Being located on the far side of Lake Lowell, development has not reached out there anywhere near once you get into kind of closer to downtown Nampa on that northern edge. This means that it's going to be quite some time before that really starts to shrink in, but there are a lot of these really small, bigger acreage communities popping up out here that can hopefully keep some of that buffer for you long term. Like I said, this is going to be a private, small community that eventually will be gated as development kind of wraps up. You're going to be separated from all of the busyness that the town and the city life has to offer. But shooting around Lake Lowell and getting to all the services, the restaurants, things to do, whatever it is that you need, you're still only about 10-ish minutes away. So you're not extremely separated, but with the lake kind of acting as a buffer, you feel it is absolutely serene out there. From the lots in the neighborhood, you actually get some really good views of Lake Lowell itself. You're gonna be just a few minutes away from Deer Flat Nature Preserve. You're gonna be really close to the Snake River, and then you're actually gonna be just a few minutes away from the Idaho wine country, just to the west in that Sunny Slope Wine Trail region. This community is right at the beginning of development, so you're gonna have all of the options that you want for the lots, the type of home, the floor plan. Larry Richardson Construction is the builder. They have some great places for you to start, or they can build you the home of your dreams from scratch. I hope it comes as no surprise, but being close to the lake, having these massive lots and a very high quality build, pricing here is going to start around that 1.3 million range, and it can trickle up towards that 2 million pretty quickly. But again, if you have that kind of budget and you're looking for something that's a little bit more separated, having the lake view, having the Owyhees on the other side, the big lot, and eventually a private gated community, I do think Lake Vista Estates, fast forward a decade, is gonna be a community that people absolutely love. All right, and there you have it. Thank you so much for staying tuned this far into the video. Those were my 5 favorite communities in Nampa, Idaho that you should take a look at. If you have any questions at all about these communities, specific information, or just moving up here to the area in general, all of my information is down below. If there's a way that I can help, I would absolutely love to. But until then, watch one of these videos that's popping up, and I'll see you all on the next one.